My clock says it's 6 o'clock. Hope everybody else does too. I'm going to call this meeting to order. And the first thing is we are going to hear Andrew on the electronic virtual meeting policy. Andrew.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, City Commissioners. Included in your packet is an electronic virtual meetings policy. Just give me 1 second. I'm going to share my screen, so you should be able to see that up on the meeting screen now. The policy itself. So this policy basically gives us some guidance for how to handle these electronic virtual meetings going forward. As you can see, it'll put us in compliance with Governor Whitmer's Executive Directive 2020-02. It'll be in effect for all public meetings held while the executive directive is in place, but we've also left it general enough that it'll be able to be used in the future if we either have partially virtual meetings where the commission may be in the VSLAC room, but we want to have others in attendance virtually. Or if in the future there are new guidelines that allow us to hold virtual meetings with all or some of the commission members coming in virtually. The policy itself, again, stays fairly general, but as you kind of go through it, it talks about meeting location, if it's fully virtual or if it's in person, how we handle public notice. Again, most of that is tied to any executive directives or orders that the governor may put into place or any future state laws, but it also puts some minimums for what we will do in terms of date and time of the meeting, how to access it, those types of things. Also put in some information on accessibility for persons with disabilities. The governor's executive directive for how we're operating currently is very specific on how that's supposed to work for persons with disabilities. But this gives us a little bit more flexibility for the future and how we would handle that, which is basically allow them to contact us if they have a need for it, and then we can make arrangements. The rest kind of goes through the different stages of the meeting, how that'll be handled. Things like starting 30 minutes ahead of time for commission members to allow for audio video checks, that it'll be part of the public record, how the meeting's opened and how we talk about things like where to join the meeting for public comment, which in this case is our Zoom meeting, which is posted on our community calendar, as well as our city Facebook page. Where to engage accessibility options for the meeting. In our case, it's done on the YouTube stream currently for this meeting. The need for commissioner board members to announce themselves before public comment. So identifying yourself, whether that's the mayor identifying you or you identifying yourself. And then the use of roll call voting for the meeting, which is something that we will, of course, will be doing for this meeting as we did last meeting. Public comment, again, this just kind of identifies how we're going to handle public comment. We'll do open public comment similar to how we always do meetings. We'll just do it virtually, identifying individuals who need to make public comment via one of our streaming tools like Zoom. And then they still have to give their full name and address prior to making their public comment. And then after they're done, we'll take away access for them to speak, again, as we did at last meeting. For comments during specific agenda items, again, that's something we handled last meeting. The mayor will identify a defined time when people may make public comment, and we'll open it up at that time. Then it talks a little bit about inappropriate comments and disruptive behavior as well, and how those things will be treated in some of those issues. Other than that, and we talk about things like graphic, obscene, explicit, or racial comments or language, comments or language that is abusive, hateful, intended to defame anyone, or other actions or comments that the mayor or commission may see as similar and out of order in a typical meeting. Then it covers rules to govern debate, how those things will happen. That individuals should be waiting to be recognized by the mayor, that commissioners should be announcing themselves, things of that nature. Voting, all roll call, and then record of the meeting will be kept. The meeting will be kept recorded and kept as public record going forward. So that's the policy, kind of in a quick form. Going back to my screen share, I'll go to our share view. So that's kind of policy. If there's any questions, I'll be happy to try and answer them.
Okay, are there any questions from the commission for Andrew or comments? Nobody's raised a hand. Is there any comments from our audience?
And just to remind members of the audience joining us via the Zoom meeting, how you will do that is to use the raise hand feature at the bottom. When that raise hand feature is done as an attendee, I will identify you by the screen name that you're showing, and then I will enable audio, and you can address the mayor at that time. Right now, Mr. Mayor, I do not see any comments from attendees.
All right, I do see Commissioner Good has a comment. Commissioner Good.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The thing you mentioned earlier in the opening statement regarding the policy included a potential for partial virtual participation in the future. Is that in anticipation of one single commissioner being ill? Take, for instance, Commissioner Lippman. Could he attend virtually in the future without an executive order from Florida?
I'll let Roger speak to this, or Eric Chesky, but I believe the answer is no. Outside of the executive order, he could not participate and be a voting member. I just wanted to make sure we had something in place if that were to change in the future. Commissioner Good, if that were something that would change in the future, that we would be ready for that. And then also if we wanted to bring in, for example, attorneys or any other members that may want to participate virtually, that we have some guidelines for how that would work.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, and I do see Roger raised his hand.
City Attorney Roger Bird's got a comment.
I would just endorse what Andrew had to say. I think we're doing this in anticipation that there may be some future less restrictive orders that are initiated by the governor, and what we're trying to do is simply have a framework in place to deal with those if and when they would arise.
Okay, thank you, Roger. Any other comments, concerns? If not, I will take a motion for this agenda item.
So moved.
Move that the City of Sturgis Commission approve the electric virtual meetings policy as represented. Is that what you're moving, Skip?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, do I have a second?
Second.
And who said that?
It was Commissioner Klinger.
Second.
Okay,
Apologies.
I have a motion by Commissioner Lippman and a second by Commissioner Klinger to approve this agenda item. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
No, it's got a roll call done.
Mr.
Oh,
Mayor,
excuse me, I'm sorry about that. Roll call. Sorry about that. Ken?
Okay, so if you're muted now, you go ahead and unmute. Commissioner Wiki,
yes.
Commissioner Burr,
Yes.
Commissioner Klinger,
Yes.
Commissioner Mullins,
Yes.
Commissioner Lippman,
Yes.
Commissioner Malone,
Yes.
Commissioner Good.
Yes.
Mayor Heil.
Yes,
Motion carried. You can all mute again.
thank you. The next item on our agenda is the Pledge of Allegiance. Andrew, if you would, please. Can you put the flag up there? I got one for
You're
Jeff.
muted, Andrew.
I got one there.
Just look at my screen.
That's what I'm gonna try to do. Okay. Let's just go to I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic.
The Republic for which it
It
stands,
stands
One
one
one nation
under God,
under God,
indivisible,
indivisible,
with liberty
with liberty and justice for all.
for all. All right, thank you. The next item is the invocation, and I am going to do the invocation tonight. If we bow our heads, please. Dear Lord, I thank you for being with this commission tonight. Please guide us with wisdom to make the right decisions on the issues we have before us. Lord, please be with the world as we go through this pandemic. Please be with the people who have gotten this virus and help them get over it as soon as possible. Please be with the families and friends that have lost loved ones due to this virus. Lord, please help the people remember to practice safe social distancing or just stay home to stay safe. Lord, I ask that you please watch over our public works personnel, our police and fire personnel when they are out and about in the public. In your name, amen.
Amen.
Next item is roll call. Mr. Rhodes.
Okay, again, unmute. Commissioner Klinger,
Here.
Commissioner Burr,
Here.
Commissioner Wiki,
Here.
Commissioner Littman,
Yes.
Commissioner Good,
Here.
Commissioner Malone,
Here.
Commissioner Mullins,
I am present, sir.
and Mayor Heil.
Present. The next item on our agenda is I think it's missing here. Is there anybody in our audience tonight who has something to bring to the commission that is not on our agenda? Andrew, there you are. Andrew?
Yep, just a reminder that we will handle public comment the same way. If there are members who are joining us via the Zoom meeting that wish to make public comment at this time, please use the raise hand feature on your screen to indicate that. I will acknowledge you, turn on your audio, allow you to speak, and then you may address your comment to the mayor. If you're coming in via phone only, you can use *9 to raise your hand. Mr. Mayor, I'm seeing no comments from attendees.
All right, thank you, Andrew. The next item on our agenda is proclamations and presentations, and under that, we have to discuss our resignation letter by our Vice Mayor, Mark Dvorak. I know Mark has contacted each of the commissioners and had a nice talk with you about this. I would like to read his letter that he sent to me on this, and it says, Mayor Heil and Commissioners, it is with regret that I tender my resignation as Vice Mayor and Commissioner of the 3rd Precinct in Sturgis. Recent changes in my personal life have led me to move from my home in the 3rd Precinct to 206 North Park Street. I believe that my new address was located in the 3rd Precinct and wasn't aware that I was relocating into the 2nd Precinct. I discovered this while attempting to vote in the presidential primary election on March 10th. I immediately consulted with the city clerk, the treasurer, city manager, mayor, and city attorney on the proper course of action. Due to the fact that my primary residence is no longer in the 3rd Precinct, I must resign from my office as commissioner and vice mayor. I do this with regret, but understanding it must be done. It has been my pleasure to serve on the city commission with you all and previous commission colleagues. It was also my honor to be appointed by the commission and to serve as vice mayor. I've appreciated my time on the commission and all we have accomplished together. I wish the commission all the best as they continue to serve the city of Sturgis. Respectfully, Mark Dvorak. And you can see Andrew putting that letter in front of you. We do have two things here in front of us, actually three things in front of us. First, I must get a motion to accept the resignation of Commissioner Dvorak, Vice Mayor Dvorak.
So moved.
Who said that?
Mullins.
Okay, thank you.
Sorry.
Do I have a second?
Mr. Mayor?
Second.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
if I might comment after the motion and second,
Okay,
that we accept this resignation letter with regret.
okay, thank you. Thank you, Commissioner Good. Roll call, please. I have a motion to approve Mr. Dvorak's resignation and a second. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Burr,
Yes.
Commissioner Malone,
yes,
Commissioner Klinger,
Regretfully, yes.
Commissioner Mullins,
Yes.
Commissioner Littman,
Regretfully, yes.
Commissioner Wiki,
Yes.
Commissioner Good,
Yes.
Mayor Heil.
Regretfully, yes. The next thing we must talk about on this is we have the two issues is now we must reappoint a individual to the third precinct and nominate a vice mayor. I'm going to turn to Clerk Rhodes to go over what how we take this up. Mr. Rhodes.
Okay, thank you. Eric, you can weigh in on the issue. Eric has given us the advice that you are able to appoint a vice mayor. You can do that at this meeting if you would like. And Eric, I'll let you speak to that, but I'll go to the second issue as to whether or not you want to appoint someone for the third precinct commissioner position. It is in the commission procedural policy that if it's within the last 6 months of a commissioner's term, then there would not be an appointment. As of today, we are 6 months and 3 weeks with the resignation occurring today. So it is just the city commission procedural policy. So I would like to, you have to decide whether or not you want to replace Commissioner Dvorak.
To do that, we put a notice in the paper, correct?
We put a notice in the paper. We would certainly put something online. We usually give it about a month. And so I would anticipate at the earliest we would do it would be our first May meeting to do interviews. But obviously they may have to be done virtually.
Now, that would give, if we did that and we get two people that want to apply for this position into May, does that leave us what, 4 months or 5 months?
That's, well, May would be 6 months before the November election.
Okay,
But
6
that
months,
person, whoever got appointed, would have to run again in November.
correct. Okay, Commissioner Good has his hand up. Commissioner Good, please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. It's my opinion that the 3-week difference between the 6 month and beyond 6 months is one that we can pass. I believe that it would be best for the city at large and the commission to allow for individuals that wish to be in that position to run for the position in the voting within the district. That doesn't mean though that, like I say, it's my opinion that 3-week difference is not a major consequence. And so I'm all in with just allowing the position to remain empty until the election in November. In addition to that, you know, since the virtual meeting has taken place, I believe that we'll be able to have an election in November based on all the numbers and the reports that I hear throughout the day regarding this coronavirus pandemic. So I just think that it would be probably just as easy to leave that position empty until November. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, John. Commissioner Klinger, please.
Yes, the city clerk Rhodes. Just a question. When does the ballot ballot petition, when does that due for someone that's trying to run for the election in November?
I'm glad you asked because I just got clarification on that. Until this is a new law that was passed at the end of 2018 because they forgot about cities with even year elections and nonpartisan. So they passed a law that said it's 15 weeks ahead of the election is when petitions are due. That date is July 21st of 2020. I also asked the Elections Bureau if there's any, given the current situation, if there's any other options besides the petition signatures. School board members can pay $100 to have their name put on a ballot, but in our case, our charter requires between 50 and 75 signatures. At this point, there's been no provision to allow for anything other than what is currently in our charter. So our charter says between 50 and 75 signatures, and the state statute says that those would be due on July 21st.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you so much for the information. Yeah, based on the time frame that we're looking at with the stay-at-home order in place, I feel like I agree with Commissioner Good that subsiding on another commissioner and appointing someone during that time is just unnecessary entirely. So I definitely concur there, and I appreciate the information, Ken. If there's any updates to that based on the ongoing situation with the pandemic, I take it that you'll obviously relay that information to us and the public.
I certainly have asked the Election Bureau to inform me if there's any changes. So as soon as I know something, I will pass that along.
Thank you so much. That's all.
Thank you. Commissioner Good has another comment.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, I have a question for the city clerk. Since that petition date has been moved up for having it turned in by July 15th, what is the date that the petitions will become available?
Petitions are available now. It's July 21st is the date, but petitions are available right now. Again, how you would get those signed, I don't know, but they are available right now.
Well, I can stand 6 feet away from someone.
Okay.
All righty, thank you, John. Commissioner Littman, please. He's still muted.
Okay.
There we go.
Okay, I support what was said too about the time frame for the appointment.
All right, thank you, sir. Do we need to do a roll call on this to wait or do, because that's what it sounds like everybody's doing here, or do we just do it by consensus, Mr. Rhodes?
I guess it's probably unclear, but maybe it's safest to just make a motion given the virtual meeting. Normally, I would say a consensus is fine, but probably with the virtual meeting, it probably makes sense to go ahead and do a motion.
Okay, I will accept a motion to postpone the nomination of Commissioner for the 3rd Precinct. Is that fair enough to say?
Mr. Mayor, Roger Byrd is.
Oh, hang on a second. Yeah, I just saw that. Roger, City Attorney.
Mayor, I would suggest that the motion might reflect that the city commission defer to the fall election, not conduct an interview and appointment in interim period of time.
Okay, so defer it rather than, okay.
Right.
All right, so I will accept the motion to defer.
Mr. Mayor,
So moved.
deferral.
Too many here talking at once.
Okay,
Who's
do you
gonna,
want?
go ahead.
Mr. Mayor, I'd move a deferral of the appointment of a commissioner until the fall election to have a duly elected commissioner from the 3rd Precinct.
Okay, I have a motion by Mr. Good to defer the to fall election.
Second.
And I have a second by Commissioner Klinger. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Littman,
Yes.
Commissioner Mullins,
Yes.
Commissioner Good,
Yes.
Commissioner Burr,
Yes.
Commissioner Malone,
Yes.
Commissioner Klinger,
Yes.
Commissioner Wiki,
Yes.
Mayor Heil.
Yes. Thank you all. Then we have one last item on this issue, nomination of a vice mayor. And I think, was Eric going to talk on this for us? Or was Roger? I don't see a hand on either of them.
Yeah,
Do you,
I
Eric?
mean, yeah, can you hear me now or?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. No, just chapter 11 and chapter 3 of the charter both contemplate that you simply appoint the vice mayor.
Okay.
So I don't
So
know if
we
anything in the
can do
Home
that.
Rule City Act does say otherwise, so you could just go ahead and appoint one by vote.
Okay, thank you, sir. Do I have a nomination for vice mayor?
Mr. Mayor,
Commissioner Wiki.
I nominate Commissioner Good.
Okay, I have a nomination for Commissioner Good for vice mayor. Do we have another nomination? Any other nominations? Seeing none, I will close the nominations. Roll call, please.
Well, would you want to make that into a motion to appoint
Commissioner Good as
Commissioner
vice
Good?
mayor. Commissioner Wiki, will you make that a motion?
Sure. I move that Commissioner Good would be appointed as the new vice mayor.
Do we need to say fill out the current term of vice mayor, Mr. Shesky?
Yes.
To fill
Okay.
out the current term of vice mayor.
Thank you. I have a motion by Commissioner Wiki to nominate Commissioner Good to be the vice mayor. Do I have a second? Commissioner Klinger?
Yes. Second.
Second, thank you, sir. I have a second by Commissioner Klinger. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Malone,
Yes.
Commissioner Mullins,
Yes.
Commissioner Wiki,
Yes.
Commissioner Good, Commissioner Good,
Yes.
Okay.
Not
Commissioner
that,
Littman,
no excess hubris there, but yes.
Commissioner Littman, unmute. Go ahead.
Yes.
Commissioner Klinger,
Yes.
Commissioner Burr,
Yes.
and Mayor Heil.
Yes.
Okay.
Welcome, Commissioner Good as vice mayor. Thank you, sir. Welcome.
Thank
Uh,
thank you all.
All right. The next item on our agenda, I already did the visitors' questions. I will take the motion to approve the agenda.
So
Commissioner-
moved.
Wait, Mr. Mayor?
Yes. Oops, that's right. Commissioner Good wanted to ask if we could make a motion to move item 10D to 10A. And he wants to make a comment on that. John?
Yes, I have a number of issues I'd like to discuss with regard to item 10D. And one of the items or one of a motion I want to make would preclude the discussion at the end. So if we could move that to 10A, I will be much more clear in the discussion at that point. Otherwise, I will wait until 10D comes up.
Okay, John would like to move this. Do we need a motion on this, Mr. Rhodes?
I think if the motion were just, if someone's willing to make a motion to just move 10D to 10, to the first item, I think that's probably fine.
Okay. I will take a motion to move item 10D to 10A.
And
Mr.
then also the agenda as presented besides that.
Is that it? Yes.
Mr. Mayor, since I'm the one that wants to change, I'll make the motion that we approve the agenda, altering that said agenda to put item 10D in the position of item 10A.
Thank you, sir. I have a motion to accept the agenda with the change of making item 10D 10A. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Mr. Mullins.
Hey, Joe.
Excuse me. Roll call, please.
Okay, Vice Mayor Good,
Yes.
Commissioner Littman,
Yes.
Commissioner Malone,
Yes.
Commissioner Burr,
Yes.
Commissioner Klinger,
Yes.
Commissioner Wiki,
Yes.
Commissioner Mullins,
Yes.
Mayor Heil.
Yes. The next item is to approve our consent agenda. I will take a motion to approve our second consent agenda.
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Littman. Do I have support?
Or
And I don't know who said that.
Commissioner Good.
Thank you, Commissioner Good. I have a motion by Commissioner Littman and support by Commissioner Vice Mayor Good to approve our consent agenda. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Wiki,
Yes.
Commissioner Burr,
Yes.
Commissioner Klinger,
Yes.
Commissioner Mullins,
Yes.
Commissioner Littman,
Yes.
Commissioner Malone,
yes,
Vice Mayor Good,
Yes.
Mayor Heil.
Yes. Next item on the agenda is unfinished business. Seeing none, we will go down to the item number 10, new business. And we are going to talk about the utility services terms and conditions. Holly.
Thank you, Mayor, Vice Mayor, City Commissioners. So we have been working on this project for several years now with using a committee of various people that are all involved in the utilities. So we've had representatives from the different utilities, water, electric, and wastewater, as well as customer service, the building department, the metering department, and just trying to take an overall review of the utility terms and conditions. We've had several meetings to go over line by line, and what I believe you have in the packet is the red line version of the terms and conditions. Some of the changes that were recommended were a result of kind of looking at some other utilities to see what types of things they had in their terms and conditions that we may want to include in ours, as well as just going through and being consistent in our terminology and what we call things. So several of the changes that are proposed are really that substantive. They're really have to do with terminology, just being consistent, as well as updating the definitions that are included in the back to try to make it more clear. The other, we also added, and I think some additional pages were sent out later, basically only in the electric department, in the electric utility, we added some language that had to do with safety inspections, depending on if service has been off for a certain length of time. So I'm happy. I just was kind of giving you a real high level overview, and then I can go over page by page if you'd like. It's up to you. We also removed in the proposed language, we removed the option to opt out of automatic metering. We've had automatic metering now for several years. And initially when we proposed, when we went to that program, we included an opt-out provision for people that they could sign up to opt out of the automatic metering for an additional monthly fee. Out of 79 customers, we only have 3 currently that are doing that. I'm not saying that we're not recommending that we take anything away from those 3 customers, but we would propose that we remove it for future. There's definitely many gains to be had in the operational efficiency using the automatic metering program and system. The other thing, we added some additional language for liability and voltage protection in the electric utility. Some things were moved around. Sometimes I think when you're looking at the terms, you might think that we changed a lot of items, but in fact, it was just moving items from one area to another. Probably the utility that had the most significant amount of changes had to do with the water utility. Basically, there were just a lot of items that weren't initially included there, especially with regard to construction and tapping and testing, that type of thing, to make sure that we keep our water utility safe. Also included in the proposed changes would be, we added the language that the commission had already approved previously for the resale of water for sub-metering. So all of that language has been added, even though it was actually already approved previously by the city commission. Someday, some of the discussion with the committee, we talked about possibly separating out the terms and conditions by utility, maybe having a separate one for electric, because there are so many things that are very specific to electric, but that is not proposed right now in this draft that you have before you. It may be something in the future. With regard to the inspections, just looking at the section 22 for inspections, for example, has to do with if an electric service has been disconnected for 90 days, but less than 1 year, the city would require a certificate from a licensed electrical contractor saying that they energize. We
Andrew, we're losing Holly.
Yeah, we seem to have lost Holly. Hold on one second, Mr. Mayor.
Okay.
Really well, services. That's not a good deal. It's not a good look. I'm frozen. Am I back?
We're just gonna have her start over, Mr. Mayor?
Really? I can. When did you lose me?
About the time you went wah, 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 wah.
Yeah.
Aw.
I think we lost
Okay.
you around the time you were talking about some of the changes to turning people back on, Holly.
Oh, okay. I just was going to highlight that part in the electric, in particular in the electric service contract, which is section 22 of the and thankfully Barry went through and he indexed all of the terms and conditions, provided numbers, and the table of contents was updated for quick reference. So I think I was just talking about the inspection. We're currently doing that now. If somebody's been off for 90 days, we have, one of our licensed local, it's usually a local contractor that certifies that the home is okay to re-energize. Just a safety issue to avoid an unforeseen issue or problem. And then in addition to that, if it's been off for more than a year, it would require an additional, in addition to the contractor, would it also require certification from the electrical inspector. And the reason for both is because you don't, the inspector just looks at one particular thing where the electrician looks at more. It's more mainly just about keeping the customer safe. We changed some language, distributed energy resources in the electric area. I think, in the sanitary sewer area, which is kind of starts at section 30, we added information about grease traps. I know it's very exciting for everyone, but grease traps and interceptors, as well as referring to the code. Some of the terms that we had in the existing terms and conditions, they may have expanded on some of the requirements. And as a committee, we talked a lot about that, and why would we go ahead and explain how to construct or install or do something when there's already a building code in existence that addresses that, and that where applicable, just so that we also make sure that we're not conflicting with an existing code, and also would stay current. We just refer to those plumbing codes or electrical codes in the terms. Section, well, it's actually like, I think page 19 and 20, there's a lot of changes there that are indicated, but really we're not changing anything there. We're just moving it to the back of the section for wastewater. Let's see, what else I can tell you. The other, I don't know if before I cut out or not, but in the water utility in particular, we talked a lot about the construction. And the terms and conditions for the water fund that are currently in place are just, there's just not a lot. So that's probably the section that had the most really added to it. Adding things like information about construction, adding different scenarios. Let's see if I can tell you which page that's on. So for example, and the water utility starts at section 45, which is also page 36. And there were a lot of proposed changes there, mainly referring to construction. A lot of these things are already happening, they're already in place, but we just wanted to include them in the terms and conditions so that we would have a document that would provide the procedures that we're following for that. Also added excavation and backfill requirements with water, and section 50 refers to the testing. And again, working with city engineer, we had a really good committee between the city engineer, the building department, customer service, Rick Miller, John Griffith, and Tom Sikorsky, and everybody working together to try to add some things and look at some other utilities. Lots of it added in the water fund. I think, and again, the other changes were just, revising sometimes we called things locations, sometimes we called premises, sometimes we called it the building. And so just trying to be consistent in our terminology throughout the document. So we spent quite a bit of time working on that and also updating the definitions. Also, section 58 is talking about multi-unit buildings. Again, just had a lot of discussion about that and tried to put in the terms, again, not really like major changes to anything, just what we're currently doing with that and how to document that. Added some pictures, which I think are always helpful. And again, section 60 is that resale of water that the commission had previously approved. Roger did review the terms, and I think there are a couple of footnotes to remove, but other than that, but I'm happy to try to answer any questions. And I think we have some people also on the meeting that from the other utilities that may be able to answer a more specific question.
Okay, before I take questions, I think you said Barry was a part of the committee, correct?
Yes.
Does Barry have any comments to make?
Do I? Can you hear me, Mayor?
Yes. Do you have any comments?
Okay. I think the biggest thing that I'm seeing, obviously, in the beginning of the general portion for the water utility is one of the things that's starting to change in the last 10 years has been the introduction of plastic water services into homes. And there's a pretty good sized paragraph that talks about supporting meters and proper meter support, which the meter department was not seeing that happen. And so we have to have that, the galvanized steel line or the copper line provided enough support for the meter to be there. And the plastic lines don't do that. So they have to be either supported from below. They have to come up with some other mechanism to be able to support that meter so that the pipe doesn't eventually fatigue and break, but just so that our equipment doesn't get damaged as well. So I guess that's the biggest thing on the general portion, but I'm here for any questions that I can try to answer.
Okay, thank you, Barry. John, are you there? Do you want to make comments on this, John Griffith?
I don't have any at this point. I'll just try to answer any questions that you have.
Thank you. And Rick Miller, I think Holly mentioned Rick, do you have any comments here to add to this?
I don't at this point. We did go over it pretty thoroughly throughout the process, but if you do have questions, I'll certainly try to answer them.
Okay. Vice Mayor John Good has a question. John? Do we have Vice Mayor?
Am I here?
There you go.
Okay. Yes, first of all, I want to thank everybody for all the hard work and hours that have been put into this terms of agreement, utility service terms and conditions. The committee certainly spent a considerable amount of time, and they deserve thanks for that. However, I have a couple of issues with the terms and conditions. First of all, I would like to ask city manager and Holly about the time sensitivity for this. Is this a time sensitive issue? We've been running under a certain set of terms and conditions prior to this. Is it important for us to adopt these terms and conditions immediately, or is there a time pressure issue?
There's no time sensitive issue. I mean, it's been a long time project that I think we want to make sure that the terms and conditions are up to date, but I wouldn't call it, any type of urgency or emergency.
Okay.
It would be helpful if we had feedback on the terms and conditions, so we can get closer to making sure that they're updated.
Mhm.
Okay.
I think
you.
mainly it was for the construction parts in particular, especially
All right.
with people putting in construction type things.
Okay, Holly, you had mentioned earlier, out of 79 customers, we have 3
Right,
that opted out. Are
right.
there 79 customers under the terms and conditions agreement?
7,900 utility customers,
79, I thought you said.
7,900
Okay, thank
utility
you.
firms. Yeah, about 7,900 total customers, and out of those 3 are opting out.
Okay.
And that's not really a deal breaker. I mean, if you still wanted to leave it in there, it's not the end of the world. It's just, it's really awfully nice. It really improves the efficiency of the billing process, being able to read those meters.
Well, with 7,900 customers impacted by the utility services terms and agreement, it certainly seems to me that this is a highly important document. It's a document under which all 79 of those customers, 7,900, agree to operate. And within the terms and conditions, as I read through them, the one that struck me initially was right at the very beginning under general comments, item number 3, that says the enforcement and interpretation shall be through the municipal ordinance procedure. Now, my understanding of the municipal ordinance procedure is that there would be a first reading. We would discuss the issue. And then at the next meeting, there would be a second reading and then an adoption. That's how the ordinance procedure works. Now, I understand it doesn't say the adoption of the terms and conditions are within the parameters of the municipal ordinance procedure, but it could be inferred that perhaps this document should be presented to the public in such a manner as they all have an opportunity to just to tell us what their thoughts and desires are with regard to this document of terms and conditions. This document impacts, as we learned, 7,900 customers. And yet tonight, we would have a simple motion to adopt this document, and that would be it. And the public would not have an opportunity for any input. Now, perhaps I'm being a little bit outside the box here, because most people, when they're on their computer and they put in a piece of software and it says to agree or not, they just agree and move on. But in
Sure.
this, you're telling us how you're going to shut us off. what it's going to take to turn us back on, how we have to construct what it is we're going to connect to your system, and a myriad of other items that are involved in the terms and conditions. And we're going to do this in a virtual meeting with a simple motion. I find that unacceptable personally. I believe that if we're going to make a policy that impacts three major enterprise funds and 7,900 customers, we should do it in more than one virtual meeting and a simple motion to adopt it. Now, if we can't agree by consensus to table this issue, I'm prepared to make a motion to table said issue. And the only thing that was within my motion was the reason I asked about the time sensitivity, that I would move that we defer this agenda item 10D and it be tabled until a future meeting, hopefully when we're all present in the same room. That would be my motion, and I would like to hear support to that motion because I believe that it's in the best interest of our utility customers to at least give them the opportunity. If no one comes forward, if everyone just clicks agree, that's okay. But at least as a commission, we should give them that opportunity. We're asking them to pay a deposit. We're telling them what their penalty is. And it's all a fiduciary relationship between us and 7,900 customers. And I just don't think it's right for us to do it in the form of a simple motion in a virtual meeting tonight. And at that point, the prosecution rests.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Any other commissioners have any questions or comments on this? Seeing none, is there any of our listeners who have comment on this? Andrew?
Yes, just a reminder for those participating through the Zoom meeting as attendees, if you do have a comment on this, please use the raise your hand feature and I will recognize you and allow you to make public comment. For those joining via phone only, if there are any, you can use *9 to raise your hand. Just give it a quick second, Mr. Mayor.
Okay.
But I do not see any attendees using the raise their hand feature to be recognized.
All right, thank you. I do see City Engineer Barry Cox has his hand up. Barry?
Barry, you have yourself muted, and for some reason it's not allowing me to unmute you. There you go.
Try that. Sorry, Mr. Mayor, sorry, Commission. So I do tend to agree with Mike's position that it isn't a time-sensitive issue to complete the terms and conditions. We wanted to try to get this to you in January. Obviously, that didn't happen. I guess from the legal counsel perspective, if we wanted to hold 2 public hearings or whatever to allow the public to display their discourse in regards to this, that it seems fine to me, but I don't know that it's necessarily necessary. But we've been 2 years in this process, and just because there's something going on that we can't control doesn't mean that the world can't go on, in my personal view.
Okay, thank you, Barry. Commissioner Littman has his hand up. Skip, are you there?
For almost 35 years. Similar, but in a way different from the water department, but you're still providing a product for amount of money. And I know that when they wanted to raise the hike or whatever, it was published in the paper, and then because it was our equipment, the hike went through. We were just making them aware of it. And I feel in the same way we're providing service and a utility to the same respect. There is an opt, if they want to opt out, that's fine. But if it's something that we need for as far as funds for that account, I don't see any reason for, hearing like that.
Okay, thank you. Any other comments? Vice Mayor Good.
Yes, Barry Cox made the comment that they've been working on that for 2 years. Are you listening to me? Okay. Been working on that for 2 years, but they've been working on that for 2 years in the city office. They haven't been working on that for 2 years and allowing public input. My biggest concern is that at least one notification of a change in terms and conditions should be sent out to the general public, and they should be allowed to at least know that we are changing in a number of significant ways the terms and conditions under which they receive their services and under which we will remove their services and under which we will subsequently return them to service if they meet certain requirements. And to do so without at least public notification that we're doing this, I think it's not right. I just believe we need to be more, okay, here's the buzzword of today's world, transparent. We need to be more transparent in this issue. Our staff has worked hard, and I thank them for all their work. But I would like the general public to know how hard they've worked and what it is they've produced from their work. And at least give us an opportunity as a community to look over these terms and conditions prior to adopting them. That's all I'm saying. And perhaps, Barry says the world has to continue in spite of current conditions. That certainly is true. But if the sensitivity of time for adoption of this policy isn't present, I don't see what's wrong with at least one notification of the public through the normal channels, our social media channel, our newspaper, and our radio. By the way, hello, Mike, and hello, Elena. I hope you're here. Anyway, I think it's important for our public to know that we are adopting 30 sections, 50 sections, how many pages of terms and conditions for them to receive their public utilities, the utilities for which all of those people pay. And I just don't like the idea that we're going to do this with a simple motion and have this very important document that impacts 7,900 customers adopted with 8 aye votes. I just don't like it.
Thank you, John.
Thank you.
Commissioner Mullins.
Yeah, I was just curious, is there a motion on the table yet?
No, not yet. Still discussion.
Is there any more discussion, Mr. Mayor?
Is there any more discussion to be had? If not, I will take a motion on this issue.
Mr. Mayor, I move that Sturgis City Commission approve the utility service terms and conditions pending legal review.
I think you read it all. I just hit it all, but I have a motion to approve by Commissioner Mullins. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second by Commissioner Malone. Roll call, please. Did we lose Mr. Rhodes?
I had to unmute. Okay, so Skip, you're going to go first. You need to unmute Commissioner Littman. Go ahead again. Skip.
Trying to find it here.
No, I got it. I can hear you. So what's your vote?
Yes.
Commissioner Mullins,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Good,
No.
Commissioner Burr,
No.
Commissioner Malone,
Yes.
Commissioner Klinger,
No.
Commissioner Wiki,
Yes.
Mayor Heil.
Yes.
5 yea votes to 4 nay votes. The motion is carried as presented.
Thank you, sir.
3 nay votes.
Yeah.
3 nay votes, sorry, 5 to 3. That's correct.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Let me get caught back up here. Back to our agenda item.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes,
excuse me, you have a couple of hands raised from commissioners.
Commissioner Littman.
Okay, I must have inadvertently hit the wrong button, but I have no question.
Vice Mayor Good.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, thank you. We didn't, since the approval motion came in, I never had an opportunity to discuss some of the sections within the terms and conditions with which I had an issue. And so now you've adopted the terms and conditions, and we don't know a number of things about general item number 9 or general item number 10 or in the water number 52. I've got some questions about these terms and conditions, and now I don't have an opportunity to discuss them. So I hope everybody else read through them. I read them word for word from beginning to end. I'm guessing some of you did not. So what I'm saying is now I don't have an opportunity to have any input.
Okay, I understand. I know I've read through it. I read through my packet. Okay. I guess I'm a little bit lost here. Do we, I mean, the motion has been approved. Do we go back and let the vice mayor make comment on this? I'm looking for some guidance here.
No, Mr. Mayor, accept my defeat. I just wanted to let it be known how I felt about the issue. Those items within the terms and conditions, I can discuss those with any one of the particular committee members at this point.
All righty.
Through the city manager. I will not contact the committee members directly.
All right, thank you, Vice Mayor. We'll go back up to the top of our agenda. The item is the COVID-19 updates. City Manager, Mike Hughes.
Okay, thank you, Your Honor. Looks like I am unmuted. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, very good. So I just wanted to kind of give an update on several things. Some of the items you are aware, fairly new. And obviously, if you have any questions or concerns or want to discuss any other items, I think this would be a good time to do it. So I would try to run through these fairly quickly. We have been working to help with business assistance, partnering with Southwest Michigan First and the Sturgis Area Chamber of Commerce. I'm certain that you've seen posts on social media. There's quite a bit of information out there on resources to help with businesses that are having financial hardship. And so we're doing our best to kind of coordinate with the Chamber and Southwest Michigan First to get information out there. Some of these programs have some rather quick turnaround, so we're dealing with that as well. For those businesses that are interested, I'm sure they're being kind of overwhelmed with information too, but we're trying to stay on top of it. We've also sent some information out to an email list that we have for downtown businesses as well, and we'll continue to do that. I know that you're aware of the water restoration executive order from the governor. It basically required municipalities, utilities to turn back on water services that were either shut off or disconnected. So part of what we were required to do was get an inventory of all those services that were shut off, disconnected, and then verified that those properties, those properties were not occupied. We've done that. We did put an inventory together. We went out in the field to verify that they were indeed vacant or unoccupied, and put together a report, and that I believe was submitted by Rick Miller to the state of Michigan. That report was due April 12th. And by the way, if anybody wants to stop me, feel free, because I'm going to try to move right through these. Today, I signed an electric utility mutual aid memorandum of understanding. Most of you know that we have mutual aid agreements with other municipal electric utilities. John Griffith was working with his association to come up with a mutual aid agreement for this particular circumstance. The mutual aid is voluntary, so it's if you're called upon, you're not required to do so. The memorandum of understanding can be terminated at any time, but it really just lays out simple terms for how mutual aid would work and what charges would be eligible and how that is structured. So that was moving fairly quickly, and I want to thank John for his work on that. I should mention that the normal course of things, we would be having another planning meeting, and as I looked at this schedule, that would have occurred probably towards the end of April. I would suggest that we move that into May. It doesn't really impact our schedule all that much, but my thought would be we'd be better off meeting together. And so I just wanted to make you aware of that. Obviously, we set up a planning meeting in advance of our budget process and budget work sessions with the city commission. So I just want to make you aware that I'm looking at probably an off Wednesday in May, and I'll have a discussion with the mayor and vice mayor about maybe zeroing in on a date and then bringing that to the city commission for consideration. I have communicated and we've released some information about brush leaf pickup. We believe that we're okay to continue brush leaf pickup in the current circumstance. We're working on a plan to the compost site. Obviously, that's going to be delayed. We typically open that first full week of April. It'll probably be delayed about a week or so as we kind of put together a plan that we think is consistent with the executive order by the governor. Also, kind of along the lines of the information and assistance that's out there for businesses, there's a whole lot of information and programs that are being deployed for state and federal assistance under the emergency. James Hissong is on top of that and providing information. I attended a webinar on federal funding yesterday. It was hosted by the ICMA. One of the biggest things that they're really promoting and we've instructed department heads and supervisors to do is making sure to document any additional expenses or expenses related to the pandemic, and then also taking a look at lost revenue as a potential. I don't think we really know if we're going to qualify, but we're trying to make sure that we are organized and documented and that we're prepared to pursue any assistance that might be available or that we would be eligible for. Another item, just so that you know there's conversation going on. We've had conversation with the Sturgis Area Chamber of Commerce about Sturgis Fest. We're looking at all of our events, particularly in the downtown, to see what might be impacted. We've already made the decision to reschedule Bourbon, Bacon, and Blues, and we're looking at a date that would be later in the summer or even in the fall for that. The way that the process worked for selling the tasting packages, those are sold beginning or would have been sold beginning April 1st. And the event, I believe it was on May 29th. Hopefully that's correct, but it was at the end of May, which really left a whole lot of uncertainty to schedule and invest in an event like that. So the organizers, the group that we work with for that, are very much interested in continuing and trying to hold that event this year. So we've met a couple times to discuss that. Just some other topics just to put out there in case the commission wants to have discussion. We did issue a media release encouraging the public to practice social distancing in parks. And frankly, like in many places, we're still having issues, particularly youth or young adults playing basketball. And so we're going to have to probably take some action on that because despite our interest in trying to educate people, it's not working all that well. So the other thing I think I'd like to mention, because I think most people are anticipating that the executive order for keeping the shelter in place is going to be extended. There's a lot of speculation that that would be to the end of the month. Date I've heard is April 30th. So at this point, we are paying for employees and part-time employees. The commission has approved up to April 13th. I think we have to consider what we're going to do if indeed that's extended to April 30th and beyond. I know that cities are considering furloughs, temporary layoffs, and probably some discussion needs to be had on that, and maybe get some thoughts and opinions from the city commission. One final item, and it's an action item, is that the commission previously approved waiving late fees through April 13th and suspending utility disconnects until May 13th. Because things are rapidly changing and we now know that things are extended, we want to recommend that we extend the waiving of late fees until the end of July. And as we mentioned last time, the approximate amount of revenue that would be lost is about $8,000 per month. But we're recommending to extend waiving late fees until the end of the July, and then also extending the $10 credit for ACH signups, extending that to the end of July as well. So I'd be happy to entertain any questions, hear your thoughts, and possibly have some discussion amongst yourselves.
All right, thank you, Michael. Jeff, our Public Safety Director, Jeff Smith, has his hand up.
Now I have my hand up. Yeah, hi. Just real quick, Mike, I know you brought it up. We did have some more complaints about the whole basketball thing. That's a school-owned property, but we did go down and basically advise them that they needed to knock it off. If they chose to leave, then they chose to leave, but that's where we're at right now. So since Mike brought it up.
Okay, thank you, sir. Commissioner Burr.
Yes, one way to correct that problem is to take the hoops down. It's a matter of taking 4 bolts off of them and take the basketball hoops off of the backboards. That will cure the problem.
Yeah, I know that some other cities are doing that, Commissioner Burr. I think that's a conversation that we could have with the schools. And I don't know, I think most of the information I have where this is happening is at the Augsburger tennis courts, and where the basketball courts are. And possibly it could be happening at Langert, but I think that that's probably a very good idea.
Commissioner Mullins.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Mike, you were talking about this extension going, we had originally approved it for the utility disconnects through May 13th and waiving late fees through April 13th. Why all the way through the end of July and why not like the end of June? Where did that date come from?
I guess I'd like to ask Ken Rhodes, the city clerk, to comment.
Sure, we've been taking a lot of calls at people asking how they're going to pay, and all those that pay in person are discovering new ways to new options that they have. But more importantly, those that have been out of work and are affected by this significantly, even if they do get their jobs back, and let's say they're back at work, they're going to start getting their jobs back, you know, maybe May, hopefully June, but I think we're going to have a lot more people that are further behind. And so even those people that have been paying their bill all along with no late fees ever, are going to have a much larger bill. And so my thought is through the end of July would give that's assuming again that we get back to normal life relatively soon, that would give them more time to get caught up. And you know, one thing we didn't address at this point is an extension of the time for disconnections. Again, we have that through May 13th at this point, but we have some people that haven't paid. We don't disconnect during the winter. And so we have some people with some fairly significant bills. And again, when we are able to do disconnections, we're going to have to consider how we handle that. And I think one thing that will make it easier for people to catch up is to give them a little bit more time. And for any individual, it's only a 2% of their balance. But I think some folks are going to be in a tough situation. And what we will be addressing at some point is probably what are the guidelines that we go with to actually do a disconnection, assuming that we're ever allowed to do it.
Okay, well, thank you, Ken. I was just curious about that because I'm wondering, would it be, you know, more prudent to just, you know, put it out to the end of June instead of the end of July right now, and then reassess it, you know, a month and a half or whatever from now to see if we might need to extend it. But you've seen some evidence to suggest that it's, you know, end of July is probably the best route to go at this point in time?
June is not an impossibility. You know, in terms of that $10 credit, given that I've been personally processing hundreds and hundreds of payments daily, I'm all for extending that out in perpetuity. But I picked the end of July simply as I thought that basically if things get back to relative normalcy in May, that would give a couple of months for people to really get their situation in order.
Okay, and as far as the disconnect, you know, if you were to push it out to the end of July, I'm just playing devil's advocate here, I guess. Would you see any sense where people feel, well, hell, I don't need to pay my bill because I don't have to do anything until at least the end of July, and then what kind of grace period beyond that before you can actually have any kind of disconnects where you're getting back in the winter months? Now you're not getting anything back out of what was owed for the spring and summer months before you cannot disconnect at that point. Is that an issue?
Unfortunately, it is an issue. Like I said, as you know, we do not disconnect over the winter months. It's based on, John would have to correct me. I think it's PA 152, but I can't remember the exact number, but we don't disconnect. We actually cannot begin disconnections until April 15th of any one year. And what we have found in that is that we try to let people know a month ahead of time, because we do have folks that have realized that we don't disconnect, and then they stop paying and have 6 months worth of bills. So there's no doubt that there's going to be some folks that know that we're not doing disconnects, that we're not doing any late fees, and will choose to not pay. We encourage them to pay. I'm still processing a lot of payments. actually got a lot of calls from folks today. I think their bills a couple days late in getting to them, and so those folks, want to know where their bill is. But I think there will be some folks that definitely will look at this and may not pay. All we can do is encourage them to pay, and so what we don't know is when will electric utilities be able to actually do a disconnect, and we just don't know that answer right now. The governor may solve that for us and pick a date when we can actually do a disconnect, but we just don't know what that is right now.
Okay. Does that take care of your question, Commissioner Mullins?
Yeah, I think it does. Thank you.
All right, thank you, sir. We do have a motion in this agenda item. Is there any more questions for Michael or Ken Rhodes on this issue before us?
Your Honor.
Who's talking to me? Vice Mayor. John, did you wave at me?
Yes, I did, Mr. Mayor. Thank you.
Okay.
Commissioner Mullins has a good point with regard to perhaps the end of June as opposed to the end of July. It could conceivably be an $8,000 savings, since it's a reminder this usually amounts to approximately $8,000 per month in revenue. So, and then in addition to that, this motion calls for a waiver of utility late fees. And so if the individual knows that they won't be extend their non-payment, these will be excused. So not only will they not pay their bill, they won't pay a late fee for not paying their bill. And obviously, just like tonight, we can make that change at some other time and extend it through July. But if we don't need to, then we might conceivably save ourselves the loss of $8,000 in revenue. In addition to that, I don't understand Ken Rhodes in perpetuity for the credit for enrollment in the automatic bill payment. Perhaps that should have been included in the terms and conditions that we adopted earlier tonight. And then it would be an item in perpetuity, because it would be in the terms and conditions of utility usage. So what would be wrong? I don't know, maybe Commissioner Mullins, if we made that motion to read that it was through June 30th of 2020, as opposed to July 31st. And then we could segregate the automatic bill payment enrollee credit from that motion, and then allow that automatic bill payment enrollee credit to be in perpetuity. And I think the clerk treasurer could see the benefit of that, and we could also potentially earn that $8,000 in revenue. That's all, Mayor. Thanks.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. I have 3 hands up here. Do we want to let Commissioner Mullins answer the question? I'll call on Commissioner Mullins first, and then I'll do Mike and Holly.
Just very quickly, I am fully in favor of June 30th versus July 31st, just for those reasons. And that's all I'm going to say. So thank you.
Thank you, sir. City Manager Mike Hughes.
I only wanted to just make the commission aware that Commissioner Klinger was having some technical difficulties. So I think he's trying to join us again, but I'm not sure if he will be able to.
Okay, I noticed that we had lost him. City Controller Holly.
Yeah, thanks. I was just gonna say that actually that as far as the ACH credit, we could include that in the schedule of fees because that's really where, that's where we put the amount for the deposit and other fees. So I think that might be the best place to include that credit.
All right, thank you. Any other questions, comments on this item, agenda item? Ken Road.
Yeah, I just wanted to say, certainly, again, I do support it being in perpetuity. As you can imagine, 7,900 accounts processing payments, even when they're, a check for the exact amount takes time. An ACH, we do have about 1,100, and they take a total. Donna has to prepare the file, but basically it takes a matter of moments to process 1,100 accounts, and so a $10 expense is well worth it.
Thank you, sir. Any other comments? Andrew, is there any comments from the our attendees audience?
I don't know, but I do see Commissioner Mullins has raised his hand again.
Okay, Commissioner Mullins.
All right, thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'm just wondering if there are no comments from the public, if we might make some amendments to the proposed motion, quite possibly for those dates, and see where it rolls.
I was going to ask that when I got ready to ask for a motion on that. I believe Commissioner Klinger is back with us. It looks like. Again, I'm going to ask if there's any comments from the public.
Okay, so once again, those in attendance in the Zoom meeting, if you have any comments on this agenda item for the commission, please use the raise your hand feature. Those calling in, *9 to raise your hand. Give a couple minutes to let them register. Couple seconds. I see no one raising their hand, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Vice Mayor Good has his hand up.
Mr. Mayor, I'm prepared to make a motion, and I would move that the Sturgis City Commission a waiver of utility late fees and extension of the automatic bill payment and enrollee credit through June 30th, 2020.
Okay, I have a motion by Vice Mayor Good with an amendment to the current that's on there to June 30th rather than July 31st. That's correct?
That's correct, Mr. Mayor.
Do I have a second?
Mr. Mayor, if I may. If I may. City clerk had a point in there where in perpetuity for the $10 for that $10
credit.
What's it called here? Where am I looking at? Utility fees.
Credit for sign up.
For the automatic bill payment enrollee. Can we make that part of the motion and just put that in for perpetuity for anybody that does this, or is this something that needs to be in a separate motion or part of the last 10D that we were talking about earlier?
If I might,
Go ahead,
that belongs in fees, and so that would be a different action by the commission to put that enrollee credit as part of our costs and fees for utilities.
Okay. If that's true, then I will second the motion by the Vice Mayor.
All right, thank you. So we have a motion by Vice Mayor Good with the amendment on the date, June 30th, 2020, and a second by Commissioner Mullins. Mr. Rhodes, roll call, please.
Commissioner Malone.
Yes.
Commissioner Mullins.
Yes.
Commissioner Wiki.
No.
Vice Mayor Good.
Yes.
Commissioner Littman.
Yes.
Commissioner Klinger.
Yes.
Commissioner Burr.
Yes.
Mayor Heil.
Yes.
7 yay votes, 1 nay vote. Motion is carried.
Thank you. We will move to the next item on our agenda is the City Hall roof bid. Is Dan there?
Yes, sir, Mr. Mayor. Thank you. All right, as long as everybody can hear me now, at the commission's direction, staff has worked with Bison Associates as well as manufacturers representatives Garland Company to develop a comprehensive bid spec for the restoration and repair of the City Hall roof and the District Library roof. These bid documents were advertised on March 9th and published on March 16th, and a mandatory pre-bid meeting was held on Friday, March 19th, and was attended by 6 contractors, city staff, and representatives from Bison and Garland. The bid opening was held by a virtual meeting on Monday, March 30th, where we received 3 bids that ranged between $474,790 at the low bid to $628,000 as the high bid. Brenda Waterman of Bice, Ian Mattoon from Garland, and city staff conducted a post-bid interview with the low bidder Van Dorn Roofing. The letter of recommendation from Bice was included in your packet, recommending Van Dorn. Included in the recommendation as part of the bid, there was an addenda to the bid package, but we never modified the bid document or bid form. So we had asked for some additional costing on some things, including Garla Bright coating 30 days after the roof was accepted as complete. The cost of this additional coating from Van Dorn was $74,750 over the base bid. This aluminized coating will provide several benefits. First, making the final product gray color, reducing the roof surface temperatures. Second, extending the life of the asphalt roof by providing UV protection, and finally protects the roof surface from foot traffic. In addition to the base bid and the additional roof coating, staff would recommend a 10% contingency of $54,954 for the project, making the total $604,494. As previously discussed with the commission, when we began talking about this, this has been a line item in our capital improvement plan. However, that we've only had budgeted $112,000. The current fiscal year budget does include a $1.1 million line item for the P-sub phase 2. That project's still in developmental stages. So funds from that would be used to fund this roof project. Thus, a budget amendment would not be required. Also, as previously discussed, the city is responsible. We are responsible for 60% of the total project cost, with the district library being responsible for the remainder of 40%. Based on if we used all of the contingency money, the library's portion would be $241,800. The city portion $359,694. I've been working with Library Director Todd Reed, and actually just received an email from him yesterday that I wasn't able to include in the packet. But Director Reed said ultimately, let me read this. I'll read the email to you. While the library board is in charge of approving budget changes, and they won't meet before we do, we have a good estimate of the repayment schedule. We should be able to repay within 18 months. And we had talked about roughly $266,000 being their portion. So what he's basically saying is that would span over 3 fiscal years for the library. He felt comfortable that his board would approve that. So anybody have any questions?
Okay, I see that Vice Mayor, Commissioner Mount.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Hey, Dan, how you doing?
I'm good.
Good. Hey, can you break down, because I didn't see that anywhere, the breakdown between the city's portion and the library portion again?
So yeah, the city would be responsible for 60% of the project cost. And granted, if we used every dime of contingency, the city cost would be $359,694. This is my quick math earlier here. And the library portion would be $241,800.
$241,800.
Yep. I believe those numbers jive.
All right, thank you. And then one more question for you. As far as it goes for the Garla Bright coating, the 74,000 additional, 75, almost 5,000 additional, will that add to the life of the roof at all, or does it just have, you know, wear and tear kind of things for the overall however many years it's guaranteed for?
So yeah, ultimately it will add to the life of the roof with being the fact that it's protecting the asphalt surface from UV damage from the sun, because the asphalt surface is obviously going to be dark colored, and it will tend to break down faster. The Garla Bright will also be, that's as we talked about this originally, when we were talking about the options and as part of this restoration process, that will be continuing maintenance down the road too. Obviously, we'll have to address some other minor issues, but this is what would also be included in continuing maintenance, to give us, as we talked about previously, that kind of 35-year lifespan.
So we're looking at a 35-year lifespan on the roof if we do it now. If we do not use the Garla Bright, it's still considered 35-year, and
we're probably going to see less than 35. That the Garla Bright coating applied now, and then applied again in about 20 years. And that'll give us
the same, at roughly the same, or probably more at that point in time.
Yeah, I mean,
right?
roughly, yeah.
Okay.
Correct.
Now, this Garla Bright, was this just it was just, we were looking at Van Dorn here. Did all of the others, Excel and Ostrander and the other, those two other ones, did they also have this Garla Bright coating option as well, or is that not?
They did not include it with their base bid. It was we had asked for those line items, but we never modified the bid documents, and nobody else provided that. It kind of came in the post bid interview.
Okay. And maybe the next for Holly, quite possibly. As far as the money for this, we're looking at, we had a $1.1 million for Pizza Phase 2. We're actually, if we were to approve it as is with the contingency and the Garla Bright, we're looking at 60444, which would take a $492,000 chunk out of that 1.1 million. Do we have that we're looking at bringing that 492,000 in for what, maybe next year for the P sub Phase 2, or where's this, what's going to happen there?
Well, when we go through the budget process this coming up this year, then we'll be looking at, we would be pushing that P sub Phase 2 project out into the future and estimating. So that project, most of that project's going to be pushed into future years. Often is the case, we also have the City Hall Library in here for 110,000, which I don't think is going to happen this year either. So, you do your best when you're estimating your capital, and projects come in higher or lower and they move, from one year to the other. We are always trying to do better with that. But, I think there definitely is sufficient funds to do that, do that now this year.
So kind of what I'm hearing then is that if but as is, we're looking at 604,000 to complete the roofing project, and within like 20 years, we're gonna have to spend another $75,000 to $80,000 for another coat of the Garla Bright, bringing the total to like 682. Is that what I'm hearing for a 35-year roof?
Yeah, roughly, and I think we talked about that when Ian from Garland was here with us. He talked about giving us life expectancies of this kind of product, and then the continued what the continued maintenance cost would be. Does that answer your question?
Sort of. I guess my thing is that why put the $75,000 more into this coating if it's still rated at a 35-year lifespan? If we have to spend another $75,000 to $80,000 in 20 years to redo it again for a 35-year roof, and it won't make that roof last longer than 35 if we do this again at 20 years. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah, in essence, the retrofit option is a 30-year option, and that did include the Garla Bright coating. Ultimately, we're gonna see more like a 35 to 40-year life if we continue the maintenance with the Garlobrite coatings. You know, I mean, obviously we can't, if we had a crystal ball, we'd know exactly, but that, you know, that's what they're telling us, 35 to 40.
So 5 to 10 more years out of it with the Garlobrite at approximately a cost of $150,000.
Based on this option, yeah. Give me 1 second, I'll dig through this. If you remember the budgetary numbers that they gave us when we talked about different options for the roof projects. The retrofit, and budgetary numbers they gave us were, you know, with the 35-year life cycle, $751,000. Well, we're actually coming in lower than that. We're actually significantly lower than that. We're you know, roughly 675,000. With this particular built up roof system. Now we talked about a 15 to 20 year option, where that 35-year life cycle, we're looking at it at 1.024 million if we went with a and I don't remember, you would have, that would be the restoration project. And then if we went to a single ply retrofit option, we'd be looking at $1.3 million over that same 35-year lifespan. So based on the numbers that he gave us when we presented this back in February. Am I answering your questions?
I think you are, yeah. Thank you.
Okay, yep.
I would also add that, and that's, I did raise my hand, but you know, our budget was only 112, but our city cost really is 359. You know, it's really 359 of that. So we're really only over on that particular line item by, you know, $260,000 or so, you know, as far as the city cost, which is definitely, you know, between the elevator and the P-sub project, both of those, you know, projects are probably not going to happen this year. And the budgeted amount, you know, it probably got, and we can continue to keep doing better with this, but you know, it got pushed forward because each year, you know, we're trying to kind of defer replacement on the roof. So I think that's part of the reason why the budget number was so low. Sometimes you think you know what a roof's going to cost, and until you get an engineer's estimate for it, you're really not quite as close as you thought. So
Yeah. Well, thank you, Holly. I just think that, you know, if we're doing a roof and it's got a 30-year life expectancy and we're going to pay, you know, $150,000 more over that lifetime to get 5 more years, maybe 10 out of it. I'm just not sure if it's worth the Garlobrite myself, but thank you.
All right, thank you. Commissioner Burr.
Yes, I tend to agree with Commissioner Mullins on that. It seems like quite a lot of money for no warranty, since we were looking through a crystal ball on how long it may or may not last. And also, were all the contractors were not all given a bid document that included that that coating?
They were asked, they were asked as part of an addenda, but they did not modify, we did not modify the bid document. So they did not include it on the original sealed bid.
So it was not included in the sealed bid.
No.
But it was an addenda.
Everybody was asked to prepare actually line item pricing for replacement of roof drains, installation of 8-inch curb extensions, the Garlobrite coating, and then an additional roof pricing for insulation per square foot. Because when we originally did the nuclear scan of the roof, we identified X number of square feet of insulation that was already deficient and that would need to be replaced. And since then, I mean, it's been almost a year since we've done that. So there may be additional that has to be replaced.
And that's why
the addendum was issued for the coating, right, Dan?
Correct. And yeah.
Which we do that sometimes.
Right.
And that's why there's such a high contingency price on that. So because we don't know what the underlying layman is on that?
Yeah, I think 10% is usually pretty much a normal contingency amount to add to a project of this size.
You think that we'll probably spend that?
I hope not.
Yeah, I mean, it's more or less our cushion, you know. We're gonna run into something, hopefully not 54,000 worth.
Okay. That's all I have.
Thank you. Two quick questions I've got. I know a lot of numbers were thrown around here. Without the Starlight coating, what is the life of the roof?
The life expectancy, what he gave us originally, well, what he gave us included the Garlobrite coating, so he said 30 years.
That's with the Starlight coating, correct?
With the Garlobrite coating.
Starlight.
And then with the, yeah, the way he explained it originally was that the retrofitting, maintenance and restoration coatings down the road can extend this well beyond that 30-year lifespan.
That wasn't my question. My question is, without that coating, what is the lifespan of the roof that we would have done? 20 years?
I would say 20, 25 years probably.
Thank you. I had another question. Do the other contractors that submitted bids, do they also offer or something similar to the Garlobrite coating?
They would, correct.
But they just
no.
offer a cost on that.
Right.
All right.
It would, yeah, it would have come up in the post bid.
All right, thank you. Vice Mayor had his hand up. I see you now, John. Go for it.
On the Garlobrite business. By including the Garlobrite, being it at the conclusion of laying the new roof, you provide the protection from the ultraviolet rays, and you also make it under foot traffic. Now, I liken the Garlobrite treatment to that of applying a coat of paint. And you certainly, if you did not put the Garlobrite on at the current time, when you did go to put the Garlobrite on 10 years from now, in order to hope for an extension of the roof life, you'd be applying paint over an unscraped surface. If you apply the Garlobrite currently and then apply it again later, you will be applying it over a roof which has been ultraviolet rays and has been able to traffic throughout the station. To say that I want to buy a car that doesn't have a coat of wax on, I'll wax it 5 years from now, so the surface will be okay. I think that perhaps it's prudent to think about applying the most stable and protective roof we can over an asset that we expect to keep for many, many years beyond this roof life expectancy. And if we can lengthen the life expectancy of the roof and provide a roof that is more stable by the application of the Garlobrite surface at the current time, I believe that's prudent on our part. And as I understand, each of the bids had an opportunity to provide us with the cost for the application of the Garlobrite surface. And so we did not do anything that was out of the ordinary or out of order in the bid procedure. Each and every one of them was provided the opportunity in an amendment procedure bidding to provide us with the cost for the Garlobrite. Now, in addition to that, I have one other question that doesn't have anything to do with the Garlobrite, and that is with regard to the proposed motion that we have pre-written for us. That it's a I don't know, procedural question, and I'm sure that either Mike or Ken can provide the answer. we have two motions, one of which is to approve or deny the bid from Van Dorn, and the other is to approve or deny a contingency. Is there a reason we can't blend that motion to say the total amount of 604,494, of which 54,954 is provided as a contingency? Or do we have to have contingency as a second motion? This is only a procedural question. I don't mind having two motions. I just wondered if what the reason is for that.
You could certainly include that in one motion. I think we just separated because it's two different actions, but I don't think there's anything that prevents you from including in one motion.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, John. Commissioner Lippman, your hand is up.
Yes, can you remind me whether or not in this whole process that there was an implied warranty with the roof or not?
The implied warranty lifespan, it was sold or is spec'd as a 30-year product with the Garland coating.
So are you saying it's a warranty?
I don't have warranty documents in front of me, but it's specified as such. I would have to research that and get back to you.
Okay, because my feeling is for that kind of money, I would hope there's a warranty in there.
Well, yeah, I mean, yeah, it's specified as a 30-year product. Again, I'm gonna have to go back through my documentation here. That's why I have a whole folder full. It does not spell out a warranty from what I see, but it is sold. It is a 30-year product in the documentation that I have. So I'm assuming that means it has a 30-year warranty. Again, I would have to defer to the manufacturer's representative
Can you get back to us with that?
I can, yeah. You know what? I'll text him right now because he will respond. And
Okay,
if you guys have any other questions in the meantime, I can try and answer those as well.
All right. Commissioner Burke.
Yes, my question was also on the warranty. The warranty on the rubber roof itself is for how long? And then the added Garland Bright coating on that would make it how long a warranty? Not a estimate, but a written warranty.
Okay, so it's not a rubber roof system. It is a built-up roof system. So it's an asphalt applied with a gravel. And I'm asking the question right now. So I should hear back from him hopefully. Like I said, it's sold to us as a 30-year product. The way they explained it at the previous commission meeting was that we should have 35 more with proper maintenance and at reapplying this product in the appropriate time, we should see a 35 to 40-year lifespan on this roof, which is significantly longer than what we've got with the current roof system.
Okay. Commissioner Burr, are you just going to wait for your answer back, correct?
Yes.
Thank you. Commissioner Mullins has his hand up.
Yeah, just I'm looking through all of our paperwork that we got from Garland or from Bice. Yeah, from Bice and Garland, I guess, back when we were talking about this at the other commission meeting. And there were 4 options. We're talking about the option, which is the 2-ply Burr retrofit, correct?
Correct.
This is the one? Okay, so the 30 years, that's what they said. And in that, they had included in there, allow the system to cure for 30 days and apply this Garlabrite coating. And their budgeted amount was $468 to $520,000 for that.
Correct.
That was at that time. Right now, we're looking at minus the $54,000 contingency. We're at, 540 some odd thousand, I guess, kind of is where we're at.
Right.
They had it already included in their retrofit, that option 2 there, which was in the documentation they gave us. That makes more sense. I just don't know why it was, kind of a separate thing. And that's what raised the question for me.
Yeah, no, and I think you're correct. And I was going to bring that up as part as that. I don't know if it was missed in the bid spec. I didn't get that information. But yeah, if we go back to the original budgetary documents, they were looking at 468 to 520, and we actually came in, well, right at those numbers, basically, or are very close to those numbers based on what the bids were.
Okay, and in that particular one that we got there, I'm reading through it now. It mentions the Garlabrite coating in there, and it doesn't say anything about a second layer. So with it just one time, they're looking at it being a 30-year lifespan with just the one. And you're saying that if we do it again in say 20, we might get an additional 5 to 10 years out of it then on top of the 30.
Yeah, that's the way that, and I think he stated that on that same document, was that the life expectancy of 35 years, well beyond 30 years.
They said maintenance, restoration, coatings down the road can extend the life of this roof well beyond 30.
Correct. I mean, bottom line is we're going to put money into any roof system that we put on between now and the end of the warranty. It doesn't matter what we do. We're going to spend some more money on a roof system. It doesn't matter what kind it is. The idea with this is that it's the lowest amount of money that we would have to, rather than having to reapply a single ply membrane roof or retrofit or do this all over again. This is the least amount of cost that we should see over the next 30.
Well, until I reread through that, and I see that option 2, that they actually had that listed in one of their bullet points there as part of their budget for this particular thing, being spelled out separately in this. It's been, I don't know how long ago we saw this, but
it's been a while. Yeah,
realize that was in there already, and the budgeted amount was similar to, we're talking about 20,000 difference in what we were talking about, which that's real money. But it seems to me that the Garlabrite probably is a necessity to make sure that we maintain that 30 years that it's talking about.
Yeah, in essence, the 470, 4790 did include some. It's also going to include several other items on that roof that were additional costs. If you go back to that original document as well, I mean, we were up in the 668,000 was the original budgetary estimate that they gave us for the retrofit option, restoration option.
663. Yep.
Yeah, yeah. Right? So, and we're actually coming in about 10% lower than that with these numbers.
And then, and when you're looking at that particular one, it said the cost of ownership 22,101. Would that have been what they're talking about to get, the projected spend of over 35 years of that 751 they're talking about, a maintenance without the second coat of the Garla brand or Garlabrite coating, or is that not anything to do with that?
No, I think that's kind of breaking down a year by year cost analysis of
general
the
maintenance.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Seems to spell it out clearly now that I'm looking at all the stuff they gave us back a few months ago and what you've got there. The way it was, it looked to me like we should be at minus 74,000 to get what they had quoted us beforehand, but they had it all included in there, and that price is right in that ballpark there. So. Had I not seen this, I probably would have given you a little bit more grief, but I'm going to just kind of close it now. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Mullins. Dan, have you gotten a response back on the warranty questions?
I have not, and I apologize.
All righty. Are there any more comments from the commission at this moment or at this time? Andrew, do we have any comments from our audience?
Let me unmute myself, Mr. Mayor. Any comments from those attending via the Zoom meeting? If you do, once again, just use the raise your hand feature and we will acknowledge you. I'll just give it just a couple of seconds here to see if anybody takes advantage of that, Mr. Mayor. And I do not see anybody raising their hand at this time.
All right, thank you, Andrew.
I did get a response, 30-year warranty on the product, whether we apply the Garlibrite or whether we don't. But I believe it's in our best interest to apply that coating to have the best final product.
So it's 30 years whether we put that on right now at the time of putting it on the roof, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Thank you.
Commissioner Burr.
So it's a 30-year, if we don't apply it, did he say how much longer it would be warranted if we did apply it then?
No, there's no difference in the warranty, but ultimately the life of the roof will be affected if we don't apply it now. The continued life of the roof is guaranteed for 30 years. Beyond that, we could potentially spend 30 years from now another 600,000 versus spending 75 or 80,000 to coat it and get another 10 years of life out of it. That's the idea. That's the thought process behind this.
Okay, does that answer your question, Mr. Burr?
Yes, I guess it does.
All right, thank you, sir. Any other questions for Dan on this or comments? If not, there are two motions to this agenda item. I will take a motion for the first item.
I have one, Mr. Mayor, if I might.
Go ahead, Commissioner
Mullins here, Jeff. Okay, just real quickly, you got that text message back after I had looked all this stuff over, and they're telling you that the warranty is no different whether we apply or not. In your estimation, is it worth our time and money to put in 75,000 now and potentially 75,000 15 to 20 years from now to make the warrant? Applying it's not going to extend the warranty at all. So I'm wondering, is it all that right at this point in time?
I think what Dan's saying is the warranty is 30 years. This is my understanding. What it'll do is buy life of the roof. It's not going to extend the warranty. It's just buying life in the roof, period. In other words, we get a 30-year warranty, we put this on, it might buy us 5 to 10 more years.
That's correct. Versus 30 years from now, rather than talk about spending another $600,000 to replace that roof again, it's going to buy us that 35 to 40-year lifespan. Not to mention that being the light gray coating, it is going to reduce the roof temperatures, also reducing the energy costs for the building. In the summer months, it's going to reduce the interior temperatures of the building as well.
Dan, do we have a lot of foot traffic on top of this building?
No.
Okay, so I mean, it's just a plus, the fact that you can walk on it, it's not going to hurt it, but that's
right.
It's more.
Right. I mean, on any roof system, it doesn't matter what it is. You want to reduce the foot traffic as much as possible because it could potentially damage things. I mean, obviously we need to be up there with mechanical contractors in different situations. But the primary function of this coating is the UV protection and the giving it the light gray color. It's also going to be reflective. And provide some energy savings for us as well.
All right. Thank you, Dan. Any other questions or comments? No hands. I will take a motion. The first motion on our agenda item here.
Mr. Mayor.
Commissioner Good.
Do I have it?
Yes.
Mayor, I would move the Sturgis City Commission approve the bid from Van Dorn Roofing for the City Hall and Sturgis District Library roof repair in the amount of $549,540 as presented.
Okay, I have a motion by Vice Mayor Good to approve. Do I have a second?
Second.
That's Commissioner Littman?
Yes,
I have a
sir.
second by Commissioner Littman. Roll call, please.
Vice Mayor Good,
Yes.
Commissioner Littman,
Aye.
Commissioner Malone,
Yes.
Commissioner Burr,
Yes.
Commissioner Klinger, Commissioner Wiki,
Yes.
Commissioner Mullins,
No.
Mayor Heil.
Yes.
That's 6 yay votes, 1 nay vote. Motion is carried
Okay, it looks like we've lost Commissioner Klinger then. Correct,
at
Andrew?
this point. Yep.
Correct. Thank you. There was a second motion on this agenda item. I will take a motion for this.
Mayor Heil?
Mr. Mayor, I move that the Sturgis City Commission approve a contingency budget of $54,954 for the City Hall roof project as presented.
All right, I have a motion by Commissioner Wiki to approve. Do I have a second?
Second.
And I have a second by Commissioner Malone. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Wiki,
Yes.
Commissioner Burr,
Yes.
Commissioner Klinger, Commissioner Mullins,
No.
Commissioner Littman,
Yes.
Commissioner Malone,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Good,
Yes.
Mayor Heil.
Yes.
6 yay votes, 1 nay vote. Motion is carried.
Thank you, sir. The last item on our agenda is the wastewater treatment plant roofing bids. Dan, you still there?
Yep.
All righty, you're on.
Okay, the shingled roofs on both the control building and sludge storage buildings at the wastewater treatment plant were installed in 1996 during the expansion project that took place during that year. Both buildings utilized a 20-year warranty, 3-in-1 shingle. Replacement of both roofs for both structures were included in the fiscal year budget 2019-2020 in the total amount of $42,900. The asset management plan for the wastewater treatment plant suggested replacing the shingled roofs with a standing seam metal roof to add longevity to those structures and the roofs. Staff has worked with representatives again, Ian Mattoon from Garland Company to develop a comprehensive bid spec for this project to ensure that that the project stayed within budget. It was determined that based on some initial estimates provided by Garland, the city should also include an option for a 30-year shingled roof with as an alternate bid with that specification. Bids were advertised on March 13th and a mandatory pre-bid was held on the 19th of March. Virtual bid opening was held on March 30th. Five roofing contractors did attend the pre-bid meeting, and a copy of the bid tabulation is included in your packet. Bids for the metal roof option ranged from $49,900 to $109,895. These costs indicated that it was necessary to shift to the alternate bid option of the shingles. Those bids ranged from $19,500 to $65,000. The bid specification also requested the pricing for removal of an existing brick chimney that is no longer being utilized, installation of new commercial gutters, and a price per foot for replacing any damaged decking on the roof. Low bidder for the shingle roof option was Versatile Roofing Systems of Grant, Michigan, in the amount of $19,500. Staff is recommending the removal of the chimney and decking over that. In addition, staff is recommending a 15% contingency budget equaling $3,000 on this project. This would cover any decking replacement or other unforeseens when the roof deck is exposed. Versatile Roofing's cost for the deck replacement is $2 per square foot.
Any questions or comments here for Dan from the commission? Go ahead, Vice Mayor.
Yeah, I just think it's interesting. We've budgeted 42.9 and we're getting by for 26 grand. With the contingency, maybe we could take that 16.9 and shove it over to the city hall roof. Just saying. Anyway, this roof project seems a lot less controversial. We've got a couple of buildings that need some shingles. They lived their 20-year life, and now they need to be replaced. And so because of that, and we have a low bid from Versatile Roofing out of Grant, Michigan. I find that interesting. Anyway, I would move that the Sturgis City Commission approve the bid from Versatile Roofing Systems, Inc. for the wastewater treatment plant control and sludge storage building roofs in the amount of $23,000 as presented.
I'll support.
And who supported that? Is that you,
Mullins?
Commissioner Mullins? Thank you. Before I have the roll call, is there any other discussion from any other commissioners?
Yes.
Commissioner Burr.
Yes, I had a question on the bid specifications. Did you say that included the redecking along with the shingling?
Only on damaged deck. Anything that was considered, anything that would have been considered unusable or damaged. That's not complete replacement of the deck, no.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you. Any other comments again from the commission? Seeing no hands come up. Andrew, is there any comments from our citizens that are with us tonight?
Once again, to attendees, I think at this point you know the drill, but if anybody has any comments, please use the raise hand feature to identify yourself. I see none, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, sir. We have a motion on the floor to approve the removal of this roof to Versatile by Vice Mayor Good and second by Commissioner Mullins. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Klinger, Commissioner Burr,
Yes.
Commissioner Wiki,
Yes.
Commissioner Littman,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Good,
Yes.
Commissioner Malone,
Yes.
Commissioner Mullins,
Yes.
Mayor Heil.
Yes. We have a second proposed motion on the same agenda item, and I will take a motion for this one.
Mr. Mayor. $3,000 for the treatment plant roofing project as presented.
Motion by Commissioner Wiki to approve the $3,000 contingency for this roofing project. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second by Commissioner Malone. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Burr,
No.
Commissioner Malone,
Yes.
Commissioner Klinger, Commissioner Mullins,
Yes.
Commissioner Littman,
Yes.
Commissioner Wiki,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Good.
It appears we lost connection with Vice Mayor Good.
Yes.
There he is.
Gotcha.
No, I'm here.
Mayor Heil.
Yes.
6 yay votes, 1 nay vote. Motion carried.
Thank you all. That is the last item on our agenda. We are now to the commissioner and staff comments. I'm going to try to go around here to do this, and I'm going to start with Ken Rhodes.
Nothing tonight, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Holly.
Nothing, thank you.
Thank you. Andrew.
Nothing this evening. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Andrew, I do want to thank you for putting all this together and organizing it the way you're doing it. It's working out pretty decent. Thank you.
Thank you.
How about our public safety director, Jeff Smith?
I do. Sorry, I was having some difficulties with my audio. Just something we wanted to maybe bring up. It's unusual times, obviously, with everything that's going on. We are switching out 2 vehicles right now. One's being outfitted, the other one is being stripped down. The company that the vehicle is with offered us $6,000 to purchase the Charger that they have, that they're swapping out. Not that they have, it's ours. And it was one of those that we thought that we might want to bring it at least for your consideration. We looked at different numbers, things like that, that we've been getting for trade-in, well, not trade-in, when we sell them on Gov Deals, which that's something we can't really do right now with everything that's going on. So we can either bring it back, it's about 2 hours away, and sit on it, or we thought we would discuss whether or not you would entertain the fact of allowing us to basically sell it to them kind of as a trade-in type deal at the cost of, or at the price of $6,000. We looked at the numbers from the last several Chargers that we sold. The highest we ever got was in 2017 for a 2011. Actually, I'm not sure that date's correct, but that was at like $6,500. All the rest, we usually average around $2,700 to $3,000 roughly, depending on the mileage. This car that we're talking about is a 2016 with 92,000 miles, and it's got several issues with it. So just because we were presented with the opportunity, and because of the fact that right now none of the car companies are making cars, we thought that it might be a good opportunity to unload it for more than what we might be able to get with Gov Deals. So when we discussed it with city manager and staff, they thought that we should maybe at least talk about it.
Any questions for public safety director on selling this vehicle? Comments?
Sounds like a good deal.
Okay, Commissioner Lippman likes it. Any other comments or questions?
Do you need a motion?
That's what I was going to ask. Mr. Rhodes, do we need a motion on this?
It's not normally the way we sell vehicles, so I think it might be a good idea. We're not really following our established procedure.
So Holly, you're recommending a motion, correct?
I would.
Okay, thank you. I'm open for a motion. Welcome back, Mr. Klinger. I will take a motion on this.
Mayor Heil, I move that we agree to the sale of the car to the dealer that wants it for $6,000.
Second. I have a motion to sell this vehicle. Jeff, you're going to have to fill in the words for me if you want. And I have a second by Commissioner Littman. Roll call, please. Mr. Rhodes, you there?
I'm muted. Okay, Commissioner Littman.
Aye.
Commissioner Mullins.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Good.
Yes.
Commissioner Burr.
Yes.
Commissioner Malone.
Yes.
Commissioner Klinger.
Yes.
Commissioner Wiki.
Yes.
Mayor Heil.
Yes. Thank you all.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. That's all I have for tonight.
And again, I want to, glad to see you're back. I hope you're feeling well.
I'm fantastic.
All right. Are you the only one from public safety? Ryan's not with us tonight?
That's correct.
All right, thank you, sir. Go down here. Is Rick Miller with us yet?
He is, but I don't have anything further tonight.
Other than that, you moved inside.
now.
Must have got cold, huh?
I did. It's definitely cooled off.
I think, is Tom still here?
I am, Mayor. I have nothing tonight.
Thank you,
It
sir.
has cooled off and raining.
And he moved inside too.
You sat out there with a raincoat. Barry, are you still with us? Barry, are you still with us?
Does not appear so, Mr. Mayor.
All right, thank you. Is John still here?
I am, and I have nothing more, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you. How about Roger? Any
Nothing,
comments?
Mayor, thank you.
All right. Is Eric still here?
Doesn't sound like it.
Doesn't sound like he's got a I know he's here.
He's muted.
We'll assume that he does not. I think, did I get all the staff and everybody? I'm trying to read down my list here and it keeps moving. Let's go to Commissioner Littman.
Yes.
Do you have any comments, sir?
Oh, okay. No, not tonight. I think we handled it all.
Thank you. Commissioner Mullins.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. One comment about the compost site. I know we had some conversations earlier, and I'm grateful that we started our leaf pickup and things like that going on the north side. But I still think that it's very imperative that the compost site be open and staffed. Whether we need to, do something to regulate the number of people in there or not. I just think it's important. I've heard a lot of comments from a lot of different people there on that note. And also, I just like to thank Ken Rhodes. For whatever reason, I'm not the first one on the roll calls on everything tonight, on everything, anything that we do. So that's a treat. Thank you.
Commissioner Malone. I take it you said no, right?
That's right. That's what I said.
All right. You're on. If you want to make comment, you are on.
No, I'm fine. Thanks.
Thank you. Commissioner Burr.
Yes, I have one question about the hospital update. I see we were supposed to get some type of a informational letter for presentation. Is that forthcoming?
Go
ahead, Mike.
Has been in contact with our bond counsel and at the same firm, bankruptcy attorney. And so he's working with them to put something together, and our intent is to bring something to you at the next commission meeting.
Was the bond payment made?
No, it was not.
Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Burr, that answer your question?
Yes, I also wanted to support Commissioner Mullins' opening of the compost site. I don't think it's a meeting grounds. I think people get in there and get out as fast as they can. It is a essential function and will lessen the burden on the city staff. And that's all I have.
Thank you.
I just make a comment, Your Honor.
Yes, sir.
So what we're, trying to do, and I actually, asked Eric Chesky to look at it, and this area of the EO is, I think, undefined. I expect that there may be more guidance coming from the governor, and when it is, so whatever that is, if the guidance is we can, keep it open, or the guidance is it shouldn't be open, then that's what we'll do. At this point, we don't have any, further detailed guidance. So the opinion is that we can have it open. Eric is recommending we do some modification to kind of meet the intent of the EO and how other things are handled. But I will tell you that it is, there's a lot of discussion about what's going on and what people can and can't do. And I'll give you an example with landscapers. based on the information that we're getting, landscape companies are not allowed to operate unless it's an emergency. And I'm hoping that when the governor, when and if she extends the shelter in place EO, that we're going to get some clarity on that, because as you might imagine, if landscape companies can't mow lawns, we're going to have a lot of long grass in Sturgis. And this is, it's not for us to decide or us to sort of like decide whether it's common sense. The governor is the one that's issued the executive orders, and in many cases providing guidance on how things should be handled, because the original EO left, I think, a lot of gray areas. Another area that there's been quite a bit of debate about, and we've sought to get further guidances on what can happen and what residential construction, and they've provided some pretty detailed information that, as an example, if someone has a leaking roof and they want to get a permit, they've got to demonstrate that that is an emergency or approaching an emergency. It simply can't just be that your roof is leaking. And what she said in her guidance was that basically put a tarp on it. And so I know that landscape companies are trying to communicate with the governor and the attorney general's office and get some, I guess, relief in terms of what they're able to do. But those are the kind of things that are out there and being debated right now. So our intention, and because I've communicated, is we are continuing with brush leaf pickup, and we are going to open the compost site in some form or fashion.
Do you have a date? Do you have a date in mind, Mike?
Well, the latest would be the 20th, but I think we're shooting for the 13th.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. I'm going to come back to you, Michael. Commissioner Klinger, any comments?
Yeah, obviously we've covered the basis on the compost site. Yeah, I felt strongly the same way as Commissioner Mullins, Commissioner Burr. I'm happy to hear that we're going to move forward with taking down the basketball hoops. I do see a frequency of large gatherings down there, and that's unfortunate amidst the situation at hand. I wish the best for everybody out there. Tonight, actually, I want to give a shout out and some grace and appreciation for a large group of the city. They showed up at the hospital's parking lot around 7 o'clock and sang, prayed, gave thanks to those who are out there in the hospital currently as first responders. A lot of grace being showed for that, and it's good to see the community come together and be behind each other for that. I wish you guys all good health and everybody else. Stay home and stay safe. Hope to get back to normal soon. I miss baseball. Baseball should be happening right now, but we'll enjoy it while we do.
All right, thank you, sir. Michael, any other comments that you have? Mike Hughes.
Other comments, Your Honor. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Vice Mayor, are you still there?
Yes, I'm here. I'm still awake. I'm a wee bit hungry, but other than that, I'm doing fine. I would like to say, first of all, thank you very much for your support.
I can't.
Yeah, I think that
did we lose him, Andrew?
We appear to be having some audio issues with the vice mayor.
And the whole pandemic thing that don't fit into the normal mode. Anyway, what's that?
We were having some audio issues with you, Vice Mayor.
Yeah, thanks, Andrew.
Oh, well.
Want to start over?
Everyone else. Anyway.
You don't have to ask him that.
Okay, are we set, John? I think the vice mayor is done. Again, congratulations to you, John, for becoming vice mayor. I look forward to working with you. I had worked with you in the past, so I look forward to working with you again. And I will, some of the comments that Commissioner Klinger said, be safe, stay home, be safe, try to practice our social distancing, and cover your faces if you have to cough and things like that. Get a mask if you feel comfortable wearing it and all that good stuff. It's good to see you all this way, but I'm too looking forward to get back into the norm. Like your mask, Commissioner Klinger. And on that note,
Can I add one thing, Mr. Mayor?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. And Mike's comments about
Get a
the,
little closer to the camera if you could, Commissioner Mullins.
Mike's comment about the compost site there. There's a lot of gray area going on out there. I know. I'm no attorney, Eric and Roger. I'm sure you guys can appreciate this from me. I'm no attorney, but I am married, and I found that it's easier to ask for forgiveness than it is permission. With that, I rest.
Good comment. On that note, we are.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
before you go, Commissioner Wiki has his hand up.
Oh, Commissioner Wiki.
I just real quick had a question for our public safety director, if he's still here. Oh, okay. I just wonder if you could bring some clarification on some things that happened yesterday. I heard of some reports of gunfire in the city, and also just what exactly happened at the laundromat.
So we don't have anything with gunshots. There's a possibility there could have been some fireworks, but there was no gunshots. And then as far as the laundromat, there was some clothes that basically caught on fire in a dryer, and that's it with the laundromat. Basically clothes in the dryer.
Okay, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
I think I missed you, Commissioner Wiki. Do you have any other comments?
No, that's it.
Thank you, sir. And I will second the part about fireworks, because there were fireworks being shot off in my area yesterday evening. And my wife made comment about it, says, what's going on here? They're not supposed to be firing them off. I knew by the time I got a hold of public safety, they'd be done. So again, I did hear the fireworks. Any other comments? Seeing none, I will close the meeting. Thank you all.